Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Chicago. Look at that skyline there. I've already hopped on a divvy bike. That's why I'm already here. It only took me 5 minutes to get here. But hey, such a nice day. I mean, we got upper 70s here. It probably feels like 80 in the sun, but it's not bad at all. And so I figured we'll take a little trip to Northerly Island here. So we'll let people tune in here. And we'll start heading towards the path there. Hey, Krista, how you doing here? What do you think of this view? Look at this picture perfect day. And that's one of the good things about YouTube is I don't have to worry as much about riding the bike. I know TikTok might be fine with riding the bike now, but I have gotten penalized before by simply riding a bike and talking. And so we'll see how it goes here. But hey, we'll cross. Let's go by the Buckingham Fountain on our way towards the museum campus, and we'll cross the street here. We'll see if there's any cars turning here. Yeah, we'll go after this truck here. But yeah, we'll head to the Buckingham Fountain, and then we'll head to Northerly Island. We've got nice skyline views. Sharon, how you doing there? Krista, Taco, thanks for tuning in here. So we're in Grant Park. Lake Michigan's over there. We'll get some nice lake views. We'll just go up to the fountain first. Look at the Sears Tower there in the gap in the trees. So I'll have to navigate. There's a there's an ADA accessible ramp here. You can get up to the main level here. Hey, here's this fountain here. How you doing? We're right up here. How you doing? Just heading up to the fountain here. There we go. Hey, look at that. Hey, on. There it is. There's the Buckingham Fountain in all its glory here. The Fountain Cafe. Hey, the geyser's going there. So we got to appreciate this while it's still here. I mean, while it's still on. And I know Ernie Chicago Nuggies often films this, even at night when they do the lighted choreography to the music. The Buckingham Fountain here, Chicago, Illinois here, Grant Park. We got August, oh no, I said September the 17th, 2025. I still feel like we're in August. If I stop right here, quick hands here. See, there's Lake Michigan, and there's the Buckingham Fountain, and there's the skyline here. Yeah, Candy, how you doing there? You miss Chicago? Pete, how you doing there? Taco? Diane, thanks everybody. Sharon, Krista, Daniel. If I miss anybody here, I'm riding a bike here, so I'll let my mods handle any questions. But here, we can cover more ground on a bike. And hey, look at that Buckingham Fountain there, Sears Tower, Loop Skyline. Let's get it over there. I think there's a ramp that'll take me down this way as well. See, they got restrooms. Marino, Chris and I ate here last year before the Metallica concert. We'll go past these shrubberies here. We'll head down the ramp. There it is, the Buckingham Fountain. And let's head over to the lakefront bike path here. Yeah, they got these little fountains. Hey, there's that nice sculpture. Maybe we'll see it on the way back. T-Lime, Tea Time, how you doing there? One Rare Gemstone. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We're on a divvy bike. Beautiful day here in Chicago, Grant Park. And, get some nice skyline views down here by the museum campus. We got to wait to cross the highway. And look, we got the light. So let's go. I don't even have to stop. Look how nice this is. It's like they timed the whole light just so we can ride across Lakeshore Drive here. We're heading towards the Field Museum. But hey, look at Lake Michigan. What's coming? So here, let's head down the lakefront bike path and see what's happening at the Field Museum. Martha, how you doing there? Georgia, thanks for tuning in there. You want me to do a flip? Okay, I'll do a flip on the bike. I'm like a trained circus animal here. I'm doing all kinds of tricks for the likes. If you like this, give a thumbs up there. Double tap the screen there. Appreciate it. It's free. And if you like this content, thanks for tuning in here. We're on the bike path here. This is the lakefront bike path. Grant Park and the skyline of Chicago is all that way. I know it makes people sick when I film backwards here, so I don't want to make people motion sick here. But hey, Northerly Island is just beautiful. We'll show how you doing. Thank you, appreciate it, thank you. And yeah, welcome Martha. How you doing there? Hey, they're working on the shed aquarium so we can check out the construction progress there. I saw that back in August. We rode by there after the Bud Billiken parade. Significant construction going on there at the shed aquarium. We'll check it out here. You can ride the ones at Navy Pier. You can ride the water taxis that go out in the lake, and they'll drop you off down here. You get the right ticket. But here we'll, I don't want to get too much speed here in case we need to stop. People cross this path here, other bikes. We're going to ride up the hill here. And we're going to go up to the Field Museum. There it is, the Field Museum. Neoclassical. There's some of the South Loop skyline there. Remember we walked through here after the Oasis concert, saw the fireworks. All the bike taxis lined up after the Oasis concert. See, we'll get some really nice skyline views. Shed aquarium. Hey, look at that construction crane. Mia, how you doing there? Sheridan, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, we'll take a bike ride to Northerly Island. I'll probably switch bikes because it'll give us more time. I think it's 45. Can I get through here? Good. I was worried I couldn't get through here. They really blocked this off. But here, there's the South Loop skyline. Anita, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in there. You know where we're at here. We're down here by the Field Museum. And look at that beautiful view on a spectacular weather day. What a good day to go to Northerly Island here on a divvy bike. There, Rainbow Cone. Chicago Eats. They're working on the shed aquarium. So here, let me check in this divvy bike and we'll go over and check out the skyline here. There, right here, right next to the S. So we might get the same bike. I'll just check it in for a few seconds and then we'll check it out again and get it in there. There, you have to really ram it in there. Yeah, 76 degrees. How's that for a noontime temperature? Not a cloud in the sky there. You want me to do a half gainer? Yeah, you should know me, I don't really do requests. Usually if somebody asks me to do something, I do the opposite. And then you can use reverse psychology. Yeah, it's a beautiful day, James. How you doing there? Nice weather. So look at this fantastic skyline we get here. And this is from the Field Museum. Yeah, hit that thumbs up there. Look at the flowers. There's a big, is there a totem pole here too? I know we filmed the totem pole in Lincoln Park north of Burnham Harbor. That's a different one. I think there's another one here. We'll check it out here. Let's see, they got this nice landscape there, this lawn you could sled ride in the wintertime if there's snow. There's also a sled riding hill near Soldier Field that they added when they redid all that. Yeah, there is a totem pole here too. It's totally different than the one, not totally different, but a lot different than the one north of here. But here, there's the Sears Tower. Look at the flowers. Wow, these begonias. And see, they got this, it's kind of faded. They got some wayfinding information here. See, that's where the water taxi will drop you out there. Lorraine, how you doing there? TST phase. We get health care. That's good. I might need that someday. So what you see it's all faded here. They point out all the buildings here. I'll just do it myself here. That's that residential stuff. That's the new 1000M. So they just built that a few years ago. It's residential. Last building designed by Helmut Jahn before he died, or had something to do with it. There's the Sears Tower. That's more residential. And then we can look up there to the Streetwalking Island. But here's the Field Museum. After the age of dinosaurs, they always have different exhibits. And see, you can go through that tunnel there and get to Michigan Avenue under Columbus Drive. And look at that Field Museum here. Maybe when it gets colder, we've in the past, I've ridden a bike down here. Sometimes there's free days and we've gone inside and checked out some of the exhibits, but the walls are so thick that my cell phone reception is not ideal for live streaming. So, but there's the Field Museum in Chicago. It's a huge museum of natural sciences and history and culture. It's not just animals, it's also humans. They got Egyptian stuff and indigenous stuff, and like this. Here's the totem pole in front of the Field Museum. Look at that eagle up there. Story of Big Beaver. Totem pole, Norman Tate, Niska, Kinsolith, British Columbia. So this again is from British Columbia, like the one in Lincoln Park. We got reruns of that. And here we'll head past. Look at these sculptural columns that support there on the other side there. Look at that. So here we'll head back over. We'll get a divvy bike. Bigfoot Forest, Vancouver Island. Yeah, see, Vancouver Island. So that's from British Columbia. I'm sure you have many more real indigenous totem poles there in British Columbia, Vancouver Island. Thanks for tuning in here. So that's why it's here. You know, 100 years ago, they would buy up all that stuff, paintings in Europe and indigenous stuff, and stick it in museums, and now a lot of it they're giving back. But I'm sure this was donated. Maybe it was here since the World's Columbian Exposition. That's where the original totem pole in Lincoln Park came from, and then it kind of deteriorated, and the grandson or great-grandson of the original artist from the indigenous tribe or nation, First Peoples there in Canada, he carved up a new one, and that's the one we got now. And we got a rerun of it. So here, we'll get on a divvy bike. We'll head to Northerly Island. We'll go by 12th Street Beach there at Burnham Harbor. And we'll be able to see Soldier Field in the distance. Home of the Bears. Chicago's pretty down in the dumps about the Bears, but hope springs eternal for the Cubs. The Cubs' magic number is 1. They play later today. I think they play the Pirates, and we'll see if they can. I don't want to jinx it. Everybody's so superstitious in the town. They're like, don't say the magic number's 1, like it's some bad luck. I know what they mean here. So here, let's get the divvy. Let's get the divvy app here. So here's the one I checked out before. I think I can check it out again here. Let's see if it works here. There. So that's how you check out a bike there. You just scan it with your QR code on your, and if you're linked up there, it should turn green here, I'm hoping. Maybe not. Nope, let me try it with this phone here. Hold on one second. I'll be right back here. I need to do it with this phone here. There, oh, there it did. Okay, there it checked it out. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry, I went blank for a second there. It took a while for it to recognize my membership here. Okay, we're back on a divvy bike. Hold on one second. Let me switch hands here. So I'll get my dominant hand driving the bike. Hey, Sand Deep. Who else is tuning in there? GED. Bigfoot. Yeah, thanks for tuning in there. So there's an Olmec head here. See this giant Olmec? This is a replica. I don't think they would, the real Olmec head. It's a, they did a mold of the original one. And so, yeah, if you just joined, we're in Chicago. We're by the Field Museum north of Soldier Field. There's the Shed Aquarium. They got construction there. We'll, oops, this kid's running around here. Are you chasing the birds here? That's great. So here, look at all they got pizza, ice cream, hot dogs, churros. Yeah, you get the Vienna beef sign sitting there. Shed Aquarium's open, okay. For the last 2-3 years, on different YouTube or whatever, And if I lose my connection, go ahead. If I lose my connection, it'll come back. So just, you know, sometimes when we get by 12th Street Beach, we're on the edge, and it makes it, I'm trying to stream in better resolution. I'm using the Streamlabs today. We were using the YouTube app yesterday, which is, it worked, but I wasn't totally, I think the resolution's better on Streamlabs, and I'm still able to monetize this way. So here, I'm going to try to, there's a way we can ride along Burnham Harbor here. This is the lakefront bike path. We'll take that on the way back. And here, it's a really sharp turn. I only got one hand, so otherwise I would take this much faster. But here's Burnham Harbor, and I got to be careful not to ride. There's people that fish here. It's kind of, there's, it's really precarious riding with no railing here. It's a big drop off. But here's Burnham Harbor, Chicago, Illinois. And this one, a lot of sailboats because you don't have to go under a bridge to get to Lake Michigan, Burnham Harbor. This is the same level as Lake Michigan. We're going to Northerly Island here. Look, they're fishing. They caught a fish. Yeah, how you doing? Hey, you caught a fish. That's great. How you doing? Thanks for. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Excuse me, I'm walking through here. Good, good. Biking through here. That's great. See, people often ask people, do you fish in the lake, fish in the river? Yes, people do. Lake's probably better than the river, but yeah, I see people fishing in the lake. The harbors here, the boat slips, Burnham Harbor here, Chicago, Illinois. They actually have those little things. There's the geese. The geese like it. See, there's Soldier Field, home of the Bears there, and the Bears are letting us down. But Chicago sports. At least the Cubs have a chance there. White Sox are out of it. There, Burnham Harbor. What a beautiful day. I gotta slow down here. We'll ride up this. Oh, see, there's a boathouse here. And we'll head right up to 12th Street Beach, 12th. Restrooms. They got a stage here. You might have seen a concert out here. Northerly Island, they have an outdoor stage. There it is. It's seating, it's seasonal. And yeah, we're out here by 12th Street Beach. And 12th Street Beach is a hidden beach. If you want a beach that's close to downtown that not too many people go to, I would recommend 12th Street Beach. It's just south of the Adler Planetarium, which is over there. We'll see the Adler Planetarium here in a second, but we'll go by it on the way back here. Christopher's tuning in here. Yeah, we're by the 12th Street Beach here. We're by the museum campus here. Lake Michigan. We're going to head down to Northerly Island. And see, look, it's not crowded at all at this beach. But the water's fine. That's the Adler Planetarium. Gentle ways of Lake Michigan. Look, they got concessions here. People are getting their lunch. Got restrooms. They got this little eating area. 12th Street Beach. Down by Northerly Island, Chicago, Illinois. Yeah, Christopher, that's why. Positive, negatives, everything. We've been talking about this. YouTube, I don't have to worry about. TikTok would give me a strike. They said I was promoting dangerous activities. Dan All Day New York City got the same problem. That's why one of the reasons he switched to Twitch. He would get it just on even on his skateboard. And we don't know if it's because people were reporting him or if it was the algorithm. You know how much I don't trust the robotic algorithm. Now we got a robotic algorithm with YouTube, but it's much more forgiving from my perspective because I tried them both. And but we've been streaming at lunchtime here on YouTube for years now, literally. And we've gone here before at lunchtime. Figured today's a good day to do it. Wednesday. Yeah, there's some sculptures out here. Look at these. Yeah, there's some gravel here, so let me make sure I don't skid out here. Loose gravel. Landscaping's out here. Ah! So they had a Hamilton museum there, but they took it away. But the Hamilton was briefly coming back. I don't know if that's still the case. But here's the skyline of Chicago. We'll get it. And there's that stage. There's an outdoor music venue here. That's where the Hamilton thing was at. It was right there. So we're still down by Burnham Harbor. So Northerly Island used to be Meigs Field. They used to be it was an airstrip here. And that's the old terminal. It wasn't commercial, like you couldn't fly United out of here, but you could fly private jets, and people that own their own planes, smaller planes, would land here. Now they turned this into a nature museum. So this is a nature museum here in Northerly Island. They got some tents there. Monday through Friday, 10 to 4. Some other time we'll check out the inside. I want to stay outside while this weather's so nice, because we'll see if we can make it to the tip of Northerly Island. Is my signal okay? Christy, Bella, Lambie T. Trying to work. Yeah, I'm giving you the distraction. I'm not trying to distract you from your work there. Thanks for tuning in. If you got something to do, you can always watch the rerun. You know, that's the good thing. That's another good thing about YouTube. Christopher knows that too, like Christopher Dotson's live streams in New York. If you miss one, you could just watch the rerun, give them a like, and it's all saved there for posterity. Goes in the archives. But see, they got this natural tall grass prairie area where the airstrip used to be. There's the old aircraft control tower. There's the convention center, McCormick Place, part of it. And there's the skyline of Chicago. So we'll get past these people here, and we got this bike path that goes. How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, look at that. Hey, sailboats out there. See, so this close to the city, I guess the only thing comparable in New York City, if you go out there by, here's a woolly worm. If you go out here, go out by Statue of Liberty there, Ellis Island, that's on the New Jersey side. They have huge areas like that in New Jersey. You can see the the New York skyline. That's what I'm talking about there. This we'll get great views of the Chicago skyline. But look at this lagoon. They added this lagoon. That's literally where the runway used to be. There is some portalettes out here. But look at the flowers. I might lose my connection here. How you doing? Hey, see, there's portalettes. But see, look at the McCormick Place. That's the second iteration. The first one burnt down. Michael Rodriguez. Yeah. Oops, I almost hit that fence. I was looking at the, I gotta look where I'm going. There was a gate open there. Look at this lagoon. Wait till you see the skyline. I'll try to climb one of these mounds here, and we'll see what it looks like. I guess you can launch a kayak down there. Years past, I saw kayaks down here. But look at these. It's like you're in Nebraska. It's like we're in the sand. There's another woolly worm. The woolly worms are all crossing the paths here. Grasshoppers. Immerse yourself in nature. There's a lot of people walking out here. There's more people out here than usual. It's such a nice day. Sheridan, yeah. Yeah, so I'm sure people have tried to fish in the lagoon. There's, I don't know what the official rules are. It's a good question. It doesn't bother me if you fish in this thing or not. I don't know if there's any fish. I don't know if they stock it. You can fish in a lake. We saw people fishing in Burnham Harbor. It probably would help to have an Illinois fishing license, but, I don't see anybody out there patrolling it. It might be kind of polluted. See, we'll head up this hill here. But look at this. See, look at that view to the skyline. Am I streaming okay? How's everybody doing here? Welcome to Chicago. Look at this fantastic skyline we get here from Northerly Island. So I left my office. I worked this morning. As you know, I walked to work, and I jumped on the bike a little early to get down by the Buckingham Fountain where we started, but I'm able to ride down here and ride back in an hour, and this is about the furthest I can go on a bike during my lunch hour. Hey, the ducks like it there. So here, let me ride the bike around here and park it, and we'll walk. See where that person's at there? We'll walk. You can walk up that hill. I want to walk up this hill, so we'll wait till the person comes down here. and we'll check it out here. Yeah, I'll park the bike right here. See, there's little trails and stuff. There's this little estuary. I've seen the water flow in and out of it like it was a tidal basin. Where's my kickstand here? Hold on, here we go. Yeah, nice and quiet. How you doing there, Ken? Spoiler. So here, let's head up the path here. Warm sunshine. Yeah, Northerly Island. You got it right, Chrisley. Northerly. You can look it up on a map. We're south of the Chicago downtown. McCormick Place. You find McCormick Place on a map. You look towards the lake. You see a peninsula with a harbor dividing it from the land. And this is called, it's not really an island. It's because they pushed this land out here before the Century of Progress, 1933 World's Fair. And then after the fair was over, it was part of the Burnham Plan. They were supposed to be a bunch of barrier islands. That's why they implemented it, the 1909 Burnham Plan of Chicago. And after the Century of Progress, they made it an airstrip. It was the airport for downtown Cleveland. There's a recumbent bike. Look at that person on the recumbent bike there. Yeah. Here's a boat. Here's a boat. Well, here, let's get to the top here. So, hey, there's Hyde Park. Hyde Park's about 6 miles south of us. That's where the University of Chicago is. You go down the South Shore. That's looking south. Lake Michigan. There's this boat. McCormick Place. See, it just kind of ends there. Look at, there's the recumbent bike there. Going around the curve there. Yeah, we got 12:28 here, local time. Prince, what do you think of this? So hey, the whole skyline of Chicago from Northerly Island. Look at this, look at these boats. See, you don't even have to leave the city of Chicago in the summertime. You can come out here and get all to yourself. And every time I come out here, I don't want to go back to work. I just want to lay here in the grass like Huckleberry Finn and go fishing. Yeah, I know. It's such a quiet, peaceful spot. There, look, see all these boats are coming out of Burnham Harbor, heading out to Lake Michigan. And see, we've climbed that mound before too. There's that little bridge we went across. So hey, Northerly Island, we made it. Yeah. Can you open a boat ride? Yeah, make some money taking boat tours there. That's a good idea. See, you can move to Chicago and do boat tours, but it only works in the summertime. In the wintertime, you got to do the hot tub boat. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, a little place for some solitude within the city. That's why Chicago is less crowded than New York. There's places you can really get away, even within the city, and spread out. And, you know, we even come out here in wintertime sometimes, and it's really, you really got it all yourself. Here's a nice recumbent bike here, so we're going to get on this divvy here. There, see, somebody else is riding a bike here. What a nice recumbent bike there. How you guys are going here. What a beautiful day to just ride the bike. How you doing there? Yeah, nice bike. How you doing there, sir? Yeah, very nice. Got the flag there. So hey, check out that skyline. We're gonna hop on this bike and we'll get it all the way in there. Thanks for tuning in. Hope the signal held out here. So let me switch hands once we turn around here. There's no swimming. That's all it says. It doesn't say anything about fishing. Okay, we're off. So hey, Northerly Island, Chicago, Illinois. We'll ride. We'll have the skyline. Got a little wind, so I know it might be hard to hear me, but such is life. So here, let me stop here 1 second. Let me fix the camera here. The camera's just slightly tilting to the left there. There we go. Good. Get my glasses on. Okay, let's go. Yeah, Chicago's got the best pizza. We got Chicago style. We got all kinds of styles of pizza. You don't have to get deep dish. There's many other, get New York style, Neapolitan. Hey, we're in Northerly Island here, Chicago, Illinois. Look at the tall grass prairie. See, we could be in Kansas and Nebraska here. The Kansas-Nebraska Act. There's those people we saw there. They're checking out the lagoon. There's some other bike riders here. How you doing? Joggers? Yeah, how you doing? I'm happy to see people using this park. Northerly Island. South of the museum campus there, south of the Adler Planetarium. We'll go up to the Adler Planetarium. There'll be another beautiful skyline view from that vantage point. Peace, Elisa. How you doing there? Hey, thanks for saying hello to D-Lime Tea Time. Peace, Elisa. Northerly Island. There's that recumbent bike. It's hard to make it up the hill there. Gotta get into a low gear here. But then it's all downhill from here once you get to this last rise here. And hey, look at this skyline. Chicago. Soldier Field's there on the left. Here's some of the buildings, the maintenance buildings when this was an airstrip. It used to be called Meigs Field. Yeah, Daly the Second still, people will never forget. One day we woke up and there were X's in the airstrip. People's planes got stuck here. He said, after 9/11, he said, hey, I'm closing it down. And there was nothing anybody could do. Yeah, there's the Soldier Field with the old aircraft carrier, or aircraft control tower. There's the Burnham Harbor. Yeah, we caught up with the recumbent bike here. So yeah, there's that nature center. We'll check that out some other time. But hey, Soldier Field, Old South Loop. We'll follow this gentleman. We'll head up to 12th Street Beach. Virtual reality. Yeah, see, a virtual visit. You don't have to come here. You can just visit from Florida. That's great. Bella, how you doing? Ken. Yeah, hello everybody. Christopher. Dollar pizza. You get that $1 New York slice. Fold in half. Better than Sparrow. So hey, they got these yeah, let's ride over here. They got these sculptures here. They used to be, I think they were different areas here. That's where the Hamilton experience used to be. They got some I call these sprites. They're like fairies or sprites or whatever you call these things, the natural personification of nature through the female form here. These beautiful sculptures, kind of like flowers. Look how nice that is. Here, we'll turn around here because this goes nowhere. This is the road to nowhere. I rode off the edge there. But hey, look at these beautiful sculptures here, Northerly Island, Chicago, Illinois. Isn't that gorgeous, Bella? You see that? Yeah, Tara's tuning in. That's great. Northerly Island. You know we've been here before, but what a beautiful day to visit it again. Thanks for tuning in here. Look at all this air conditioning units, or HVAC, whatever it is. So here we'll head back towards the skyline. Here we got 12:36 Chicago time. Got to ride past the gravel here again. So it's going to get bumpy. That's the Huntington Bank music venue there, whatever it is. Northerly Island. Right around the puddles here. So we'll head up to 12th Street Beach here. We just got to get through the loose gravel here. It's always scary for me riding a bike through this loose gravel with one hand. We'll stay on the edge here. There we go, we're back to the pavement. Hey, look at that. See why they put that there? You get that nice view. It's almost like the Hollywood Bowl here. There's 12th Street Beach. Margie, how you doing there? Ken? Thanks for tuning in here. Yeah, so if you missed any part of this, you can rewind it. We started at the Buckingham Fountain. We're over here by Lake Michigan, 12th Street Beach. We went down to Northerly Island, and we're going to head all the way back to the loop of Chicago here. Hey, what a good day to go to the beach. Wednesday, September the 17th, 2025. There's the Adler Planetarium in the distance, that dome. There is a telescope there that looks out into the lake. This is 12th Street Beach at Northerly Island. Yeah, see the line there. Now it's not that bad. See, people are in the water even in September. The lake's still pretty warm right now because it's been warmed up all summer. About as warm as it's ever going to get. So here, let's head up around the we'll circle around the Adler Planetarium here. I think I should have headed this way. Yeah, let's go up this way. I should have rode up this path. I didn't know if it connected or not. I haven't rode this way in a while. So there it is. Ernie's gone inside here. The Adler Planetarium. You can check out his reruns. Resurrection. Hey, thanks for the info there, Ken. Designs of the city. Yeah, the planetarium. There it is. See, yes, the glass there. Like I said, Tara, Ernie's gone inside. They got planets and displays. This is a telescope. This is the observatory, the actual telescope. But it's too much light pollution. So it's called the Dome Observatory here. But look at these skyline views we get from the Adler Planetarium here, Chicago, Illinois. I'm on a divvy bike. See, it's a divvy bike. It's not an e-bike, it's just a regular. That's why I'm out of breath. I got to pedal it up hills. It's one of those, you know, it's like a B-cycle. It's a bike you can check out, and then I don't have to ride it home. I got a bike, but I left it at my dad's place. But here, look at this amazing view to the Chicago skyline here from the Adler Planetarium. This is one. I think Ernie was here this morning, and look at that, the whole skyline there. Yeah, you can Google it to confirm. There you go. Look at that view there. We get the whole skyline in there. Look at that. Okay, let's keep going. 12:40, so I got 20 minutes to get back. So let's go. See, they got a nice, that's a good place to watch the fireworks. Sometimes Ernie films the fireworks there and other people do as well. I don't mean to be talking about Ernie so much, but he's a good live streamer there. There we go. So here, let's get on the road here. Hey, look at this view. This is the road that goes from the Adler Planetarium to the Shed Aquarium. And there's the water taxi heading back to Navy Pier. So it's quite a walk out here. You could take a bus, or I think one bus line goes out here. Hey, thanks for coming along for the ride. Literally, we're on a divvy bike here. And there's statues out here. There's a statue to Kochescu. I think there's one to Copernicus or somebody else there. I know I'm saying the Polish name wrong. He was a veteran of the Revolutionary War from Poland, helped us out, and then went back to Poland and helped the revolution there. Pulaski, I think he died in the Revolutionary War, but Kochescu, there he is on his horse there. So anybody coming, we can go over here, Take a look at this statue. Just like Lafayette was from France, Ceausescu was from, there he is, Ceausescu, am I saying his name right? There he is on his horse there. And here, let's check it out here. Ceausescu on his horse with his saber. Thaddeus, his first name was Thaddeus. Thaddeus Maximus. Look at that. Ceausescu on his horse. Looking nice. So here, there's the Shed Aquarium. We'll ride right down to the lakefront bike path. We'll still get nice views when we ride around here. I got a rerun of this already. So here, we'll go right along here. How you doing? So here, we'll head down the, this is how you connect to the bike path. Yeah, this Gemini is huge on YouTube. Thanks for checking out this Gemini and Ernie and all the other Chicago live streamers still on TikTok. And there's also Chris Presents on YouTube. Very prolific live streamer on YouTube. But yeah, this Gemini is huge. And I'm trying to catch up to him here. Thanks for watching. Here's, you see Navy Pier off in the distance. We're riding around. This is where the Shed Aquarium, they have the whales and the dolphin show. There's some nice natural areas you can walk through here. And here's the skyline of Chicago. Get it around to the Sears Tower. My connection might drop out. Sometimes it drops out when we go by the construction here. And they're doing construction on the Shed Aquarium on the north facade right there. Got a big crane. They got that whole wall shored up there. But it'll go on for a few years. Shed opening and evolving. There, look at that skyline there. We got to get around the strollers here. Oh, there's a jogger. It's always a congested area. Slow down. Shed Aquarium. Here's where I usually lose my connection, so we'll see if it holds out under these trees. Can't handle the trees. Yeah, I'm riding a bike. I'm on a divvy bike here. Thanks for tuning in here. Now we're back in Grant Park, so remember we rode up to... See, here's, you can wait in this shelter if you're waiting for the water taxi to take you back to Navy Pier. We'll head right up the bike path here, and you can walk along the shore there. Hey, have a picnic. What a nice day for a picnic. We'll ride by Sable Lakeshore Drive here. Oh, there comes the bike riders. You stole that from Chris? That's good. Imitation is the best form of flattery, right? Show us the world. Yeah, I'd like to take the show on the road more. I'm tied to my day job. I'm working to pay my Chicago rent. I'm on the wheel like a hamster. Look at all these trees. Hey, there's the Sears Tower. Look at that. What a beautiful day. Look how clear it is today. So we're up by Balbo. This next intersection is Balbo and Lakeshore Drive. Chicago, Illinois, Grant Park. Lake Michigan's over there. What I might do is park this thing. This geese is in the way here. Go slow here. That's a brave goose right there, standing right in the middle of the bike path, daring people to hit it. It didn't even hiss at me. Hey. Hear the cicadas? So, hey, Chicago, Illinois, Grant Park. Look at the sculpture. We're near the Buckingham Fountain. We should be able to see it off to our left. There, Love and Marriage Fountain. Al Bundy and Peg. There it is, Buckingham Fountain. Get the skyline there, Sears Tower. Whole new skyline. There's Lake Michigan. There's a water taxi stop right there. See the water taxi stopped right there. This is Monroe Harbor. Navy Pier's up there. There's the Buckingham Fountain. Right there. Zoom past it. Yeah, thanks for the score updates. Taco's been doing that. Thanks, I appreciate it. Got a great team here. Anita's on. Taco's on. Piece of Lisa's on. We're doing good. So do you guys notice any difference when I'm using Streamlabs right now? Does the resolution look better on Streamlabs than when I use the YouTube app? I notice on the reruns it looks a little fuzzy on the YouTube app. Streamlabs, I think it's a better resolution. So I might still go with Streamlabs. I thought I had to use the YouTube app to monetize my live stream, but YouTube's paying me money for even using Streamlabs, and I'm trying to figure out how it works. TikTok would never pay for my live stream. You know, you got to do gifts and subscriptions and whatever. And it's only the Creator Fund only works for the TikToks, the ones that are reruns. But hey, I'm gonna park this bike in Monroe, and then we'll walk through the Maggie Daley Park, and then we'll walk through Millennium Park. I'm not going to get back to work at 1, that's okay. We didn't even start this right away anyway. So I'm going to park. We got 12:49, I got 10 minutes, 15 minutes to walk through here. And we should be able to do it here. I went the wrong way. I went the big roundabout way here, but that's okay. So this is where you get the tender service, the boathouse here at Monroe Harbor. Here, let's park this bike. Oh! So you got to really ram the bike in here, so I got to use 2 hands here. Hold on a second. There. Did it take it? Yeah, it's in there. Good. Yeah, everybody pretty much calls it the Aon building. It used to be called the Standard Oil building, you're correct. It was the Standard Oil building, then it was the Amoco building, and now it's the Aon. Aon's insurance. All the names of these buildings changed, like the Sears Tower became the Willis, but I still call it the Sears. And this is DeSable Lakeshore Drive. Look, they added even Lakeshore Drive, now John Baptiste Point DeSable Lakeshore Drive. There's that used to be the Standard Oil building, now it's the Aon. Here we're on the lakefront bike path here. Wait to cross here. So I'll catch up on the comments here. Cleet, how you doing there? Yeah, I rode one-handed. I was holding the gimbal in the other one. Yeah, it looks good on the app, good. Streamlabs. Yeah, we need to do a comparison between Prism. I know Christopher uses Prism, that's a good point. I think Prism's it might be better than Streamlabs. I might look into it as an option as well. Chicago Triathlon Way, there's a spider web there. Here's the bike path here, lakefront bike path. Waiting across here. Light's about to change. But there's Monroe Harbor, Lake Michigan. Here we'll cross here. We got the light. Yeah, it's a mouthful. John Baptiste Point DeSable Lakeshore Drive. It's like the longest name in the world for a highway. There, see, we were way down there at the Field Museum, and see how it lines up with the Field Museum, the vista there. So you see the lakeside garage here. They used to call this the Monroe parking garage, Maggie Daley Park. We'll head through here. and we'll go across the bridge there. See, you need a permit. Permit for alcohol, amplifying sound, concessions. There's a playground here, but we'll bypass it. No dogs allowed. I see people with dogs here all the time. Walk your bike. I see people riding their bikes here all the time. All the signs said long-haired freaky people need not apply. Prism, you have to be extra careful where you're going. Oh, what? Does the bandwidth affect it? Is that what you mean? It doesn't. It only works with the good signal. Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful city. Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, it's like John Malkovich. It's like being John Malkovich. Isn't that amazing? You know, what people sometimes think I'm wearing the glasses with the camera in the glasses, but I got a gimbal holding my phone. Most live streamers helps out with the shake. Otherwise, the camera would be shaking around like that when I'm walking. I have a shaky gait. G-A-I-T. Yeah, Chicago's a beautiful city. See, it's all in the eye of the beholder. You know. And it is depressing when, you know, we all had hoped he'd be the president of all of us, but he's proven, especially, you know, the tragic events of last week, we want somebody to unite the country and give us words of reassurance, and he's using it as a way to attack people he wants to attack. And we heard what he said. He could care less about uniting the country. He wants to use this to divide and conquer. So the battle will continue. And that's the point. He's a pugilist. He likes to fight. He wants somebody to fight. In order for him to be good, he has to point to who the bad person is, and it's usually Chicago. And I often argue, I said, how can we have a great country if we don't have great cities? And I guess that's his strategy. He's used the National Guard, but that's not how the separation of powers work. The governors are supposed to go. So we'll see what happens in Memphis. I wish him the best, but I'm prepared for the worst here. Here's the Sears Tower. And yeah, the Aeon there. I know your opinion can differ from mine. I respect people's opinions that differ from mine. You know, free speech is no reason to anybody lose their life over free speech. Such a tragic what happened to Charlie Kirk last week. And glad they got the suspect, so they're not out roaming around. Hey, there's the Blue Cross Blue Shield building. Here, we'll walk across the BP Bridge. We got 1254. So this is Maggie Daley Park. Of course, the ice skating rink. In the summertime, they use it for inline skating. Maggie Daley Park here. This is the BP Bridge, they corporate brand. Just like the Pritzker Pavilion. The Pritzker family donated money. The Crown Fountain, you know, all this stuff. Even the Buckingham Fountain was a philanthropic. The Buckingham family of Chicago, their father owned grain silos there along the Chicago River, and that's how they made their fortune. The brother and sister heirs to the fortune donated money for the Buckingham Fountain when they created Grant Park. But Queen Elizabeth II did visit it when she was younger in the 1950s when they opened the St. Lawrence Seaway. So at least Queen Elizabeth did visit the Buckingham Fountain, even though it's not named after Buckingham Palace. Here's the skyline of Chicago. Look at this beautiful loop skyline. We're walking across the BP Bridge here. If you just tuned in, we rode a bike back from Northerly Island, and now we're walking over towards Millennium Park. I'm going to head back to work here in about 10 minutes. Yeah, that Prudential building used to be the tallest. Remember, there was a restaurant up there and an observation deck, that TV tower, and look how the Standard Oil building, now the Aeon just dwarfs it. That's the Standard Oil, or the Aeon building, that one that looks like the World Trade Center, is 1,100 feet tall approximately. It has the Mid-America Club at the top. That's a private business club. I think that's still up there. I've been up there. My old boss used to be a member. Here's Blue Cross Blue Shield. But yeah, Prudential one, that was the first one built in the around the late 50s, early 60s, and that one was built in 1988. But here's the BP Bridge. Hey, the Chicago Marathon. So we'll cover that October the 12th. It seems later this year. Usually I thought they have it the first weekend, but they're going to have the second weekend of October. There's Columbus Drive. You see the Stack City, the different layers of the streets there. See, there's a parking garage underneath there. That's a green roof. There's a parking garage under Millennium Park. This is a green roof. Monoliths. Yeah, the scale of the buildings in Chicago are huge. If you would take any of these buildings, the taller ones or the big, huge block, long ones, and put them in any other city, it would just dominate the skyline. But the scale of the buildings is really large in Chicago. Here's the BP Bridge here. We're heading into Millennium Park. We got 12:57. Thanks for tuning in here. Hope you're having a good day here. Yeah, if you enjoy this, hit the thumbs up here. Thanks for tuning in here. Yeah, they're working on the Great Lawn here. We were here for the House Music Festival. We were here briefly for the Jazz Music Festival when my Aunt Della was here over Labor Day. That's still one of my most successful videos. We walked along the Riverwalk, and at least on YouTube, and we saw Art on the Mart, and saw all the boats there that Saturday over Labor Day, last time they shot the fireworks off at Navy Pier, at least for the summer stuff. So I don't know what they're doing. It looks like they're still working on, they were working on this earlier this year. They must have had to do something. They waited till the end of the summer concert series. This is the Pritzker Band Shell here, designed by Frank Gehry. Yeah, it looks like the Balboa Museum there, Spain, but this is or it looks like the Disney Museum in LA. Or the Disney music hall there. Yeah, the House Music Festival. Did you see that? Wasn't that nice? We saw Psycho Bitch, the DJ. That's her name. And she's well known in Chicago back to the 1990s. Hey, look at those booms. Yeah, they're working on the Pritzker Band Show here. Or at least the speaker arches here. Hey, well, so we'll round it out. We'll end it at the Bean here. We'll go check out the Bean on this nice sunny day. So we saw the Bean every day this week. We saw it Monday at lunchtime. Tuesday we saw it in the morning. Now it's Wednesday. We're seeing it at lunchtime again. So I know probably tonight when I walk home from work, somebody will be like, go to the Bean. I'm like, I went there at lunch, watched the rerun. Go to Northerly Island. They'll be like, go to the south side. I'm like, I went to Northerly Island. It's technically on the south side, just not that far south. we saw Hyde Park in the distance. In Chicago, there's a Hyde Park in London. Look at this residential. Yeah, look at the scale. These, see how they added residential at the top. There's the Bean. Look, they're waving to you. Remember we saw the conspiracy theorists, they think a man's trapped in the Bean. I'm like, man, it must be getting stinky inside there. Here's the Great Bean of Chicago. Cloudgate, Anish Kapoor is the artist. Yeah, we'll walk up the ramp here and we'll check out the Bean of Chicago. Jeffrey, how you doing there? Angie Love. Yeah, that's a nice name. See, everybody likes the Bean because you can see yourself reflected in the Bean there, so you can go up there and get your reflection. I'm going to do the same thing. Kids like it. People like it. Yeah. You can do your dance there. See, the Cubs' magic number's 1. And I know I don't want to jinx them. And look at that. Yeah. Got a Yankees fan there. Look, Christopher, here's a Yankees fan right there. At least where the Yankees head. There, the Great Bean of Chicago. There it is. So you can walk underneath it here. I'm in everybody's picture. Here's the Double Clutch Brewing Company. They got it set up for Oktoberfest. So they got it set up for Oktoberfest. There, Cloud Gate, Great Bean of Chicago. So you can go underneath it. Yeah. See, I'm missing some comments here. So I got to go back to work, unfortunately. Enjoy this wonderful weather. If you missed any part of this live, we went out to Northerly Island, the museum campus, rode by Lake Michigan, saw some great skyline views, and you can rewind it. Check out the reruns from earlier this week. We'll be posting clips and stuff. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to my mods for being such a great help here, even with the time and temp. And hope you have a good rest of your Wednesday. Okay, I'm going back to work here, so thanks a lot. And we'll see you next time. We'll see you after 5 o'clock on YouTube. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day from Chicago. Thanks for tuning in there. Appreciate it. All right, bye.